Awesome, awesome. That is really good. And that makes me really happy. I was super nervous. I think I was more nervous about this launch than the actual Fitman Cook one beforehand, because it's just, you just never really know. And now, because social media has changed so much, the way that we engage on social has changed. Even myself, I don't really go and engage with pages a lot, but I will just read and consume the content. So I just had no idea if y'all were gonna love the app or not. I loved it when I had it in my hand, so I knew that people, once they downloaded it, they would actually like it, but I just had to get to that first step first. But yeah, y'all had an amazing response to it, so thank you all very much.
Yeah, a lot of nice positive comments here, and it's been this.
Nice. You gonna read some?
Yeah, some really nice positive comments here from people. So yeah, that's what nice to see.
Okay, awesome. Well, I can't see the comments, but Andres, I'm going to ask you to read some of those and call people out by name. If I could see your comments right now, then I would say something to you, but I appreciate the love. We're going to go ahead and get started right now. So what we wanted to do was just have a quick hangout with you all to answer your questions about meal prep, the new app, and everything in between relating to cooking food in bulk, because we realize that it's a trending topic that we've been talking about for years, as you've been following the channel, but right now it's a really relevant topic. The first thing that I want to start out with, though, I wanted to get the app questions out of the way so we can kind of get into some of the meat and bones if there are tons of questions out there about it. But as I'm talking, if you have a question, just go ahead and write it down or put it into the chat window, and then Andres will feed them to me. Also, if you have questions about the app, go ahead and jot those down too, because he's going to be addressing some of those. The first topic that I wanted to talk about is the Android. I hope my Android users are out there. If you got an Android, shout out something there in the comment section. But I want to say first off to the Android community, thank you all for your support of the Fitman Cook community as we dive into app development. So I got a lot of questions about, well, when is the app going to come to Android? When is Meal Prep Pro going to be built for that? And the reality is, guys, this is strictly a numbers game, and it's got to be financially viable for us to be able to. I said a couple months ago, whenever we launched the Android app with the regular FMC app, it did very, very well. And I said, to preface that, is that a lot of people within the industry said, don't build an app for Android because you won't see the return. I'm not going to name the brand by name, but a really big brand, a huge chef brand, said, don't do it, you won't see the return. We did it anyway because it's really important to us that everyone around the world can experience the awesomeness of the Fitman Cook app, because Andres can build a really awesome app. But here's the reality. We are now, what is that, like 5 months in. I believe we launched in March, so what is that, March, well, you guys, I have trouble counting now. I swear I do. April, May, June, July. So about 4 to 5 months in already, and hundreds of thousands of downloads. We haven't even broken even. In stark contrast to the iPhone app, which we were able to break even very quickly. The thing about app development is that the money that the app gets, that we get from the app, and the revenue from it, that a significant portion goes back into development, because we've got tons of requests from around the world. So we're really trying to quickly implement those. In fact, when we launched on Android, we had a really positive response from the analyst team from Google Play, and the analyst said, you know what, we should feature this app, and they passed it on to get featured. And the people that were going to feature the app, they came back to us within 1 day and said, hey, you know what, could you make a couple changes to it? We don't like this, we don't like that, blah, blah, blah. We said to the app, let's go ahead and do it. And we did those changes. A couple $1,000s, by the way, not complaining. And then we sent it back to them with the changes. And they said, well, you know what, I just think there's too much white space here. Can you change this around? Blah, blah, blah. And it was just this crazy thing, because we had already had 5-star reviews and tens of thousands of downloads. And so we weren't featured on them because we're like, hey, we're going to back away from this because it sounds like you are designing our app. more so, and doing it in such a way that really doesn't line up with the positive feedback. The reality is a lot of people are downloading the Android app free, but they're not downloading the premium version. And when you download the premium version, that money goes back into development so we can continue to make improvements. We're always going to push new recipes, but we want to add new features. So people in Android, if you have the Android app and you've got the free version, consider upgrading to the premium version. And we can use that data to inform how well this new Meal Prep Pro app will perform on Android once we move there, because we would love to. But again, it's just got to make financial sense. And right now, the numbers are against us. 4 months in, hundreds of thousands of downloads, and we haven't broken even yet. Andres, is that pretty accurate? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love nothing more than for us to be able to take on a full-time Android developer to just start building all these features that have come to the iPhone app. But unless people are prepared to upgrade, then there's just no way to do that. We've not even made back the money from the first version. So it's very difficult to say, okay, you know what, let's spend like an extra $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 or whatever the cost will be to kind of build all of these extra features, when we haven't yet seen that kind of movement. But at the same time, it's amazing to have the Android app out there, and it's really, really great to see like all those amazing reviews of the Android version as well. Like people are really excited, and like we've been waiting to bring it to Android for so long ourselves as well. Like so it was a huge moment to kind of publish the Android version, and pretty much with no hiccups at all. I don't think like we've had, I don't think I've seen any comments like, oh, this is crashing or anything like that. So I think people are really, really, really happy with the Android edition, which is amazing.
Yeah. So people on Android, consider upgrading to help us out with the development costs, and we can use that data to inform how quickly we can do something with the Meal Prep Pro app to get it onto the Android platform, because it is a priority, but again, the data have to make sense. So really appreciate y'all for understanding that.
And there's a couple of nice people. Sorry, there's just a couple of nice people here jumping in the comments talking about, like not having understood the complexities previously kind of thing, and talking about maybe us doing like a Kickstarter or something like that. So that's really nice to hear from people, that they kind of understand what we're kind of getting at here. I know that sometimes maybe some of the big companies make it look like, oh yeah, we'll just kind of, an app, will just click our fingers and it will magically appear. And there's a couple of nice people here posting comments that they've just upgraded. So we're hugely grateful.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. Thank you. That's what I'm talking about, the immediate type of feedback. Thank y'all. It actually means a whole lot when you do stuff like that. So, all right. With that, I actually want to move on with a conversation that's pretty related, and that's with the Meal Prep Pro app. Launch did amazingly well, very, very well. It surpassed probably about 3 times the amount of momentum from the first launch, right, on the iPhone. If you look at the total number of people that actually engaged and downloads the app, which is great. So thank you all for doing that. I think I'm so proud of this app. It's a very sexy app. First off, it looks and feels good in your hand. And so Andres and his team did an amazing job. It was 1 year in the making. I hope that you all spent some time looking at the documentary that we posted, and also reading the blog on the website, because it kind of goes into the background of what we had to do for this new app, and the reason why it looks the way it is and it feels the way it is, because it genuinely did come from you all. You all saved us development by giving us quality feedback. So spend some time and look at that. I want Andres, so even though the app was great, it was fantastic, we had a couple of hiccups, and these were all positive things. Like people were getting error messages, and that was because we had reached the capacity of the number of users that we could add in a given period. And so we were looking at capacity issues and storage issues and other things like that. So these are really good things to have. I want Andres to kind of walk through. We have already submitted an update, the error messages. So you all should be receiving that very soon from the App Store. But Andres, if you want to walk through some of the things that we're doing for version 1.01.
Yeah, definitely. So we really, we really pushed it right up to the deadline. We were sort of, finishing off all of these features, and it was really quite a mad 2-3 months in the run up to the launch. So we didn't have quite as much time as we would have loved to have had to kind of got it in front of some more people and kind of spotted some of these things. But as soon as some of these queries have been coming back, and we've been trying to answer them within, a couple of hours to make sure that everybody knows we're listening. We've sort of version 1.01 is currently waiting for Apple to approve it. So as soon as they approve it, you'll see some of the most kind of crucial things that a couple of people identified. We've already solved those, so we've already kind of ticked those off. And there's a few things for Spanish users, a couple of things for people that were noticing some odd kind of ingredients and things like that. So all of those kind of things we've solved. We had a really interesting problem that we're still trying to solve with some people. When they first signed up, they've been getting some odd error messages, and we're kind of messaging the Google support team because that shouldn't be happening. So we're really sort of as fast as possible trying to get these new versions out for everybody, because obviously the sooner we can get through these kind of key issues, the sooner we can start focusing on some of the bigger things that people have been telling us about.
Absolutely. Can you talk a little bit about one thing that I really wanted to stress was the meals and how we're going to be mixing that up, because I think there was a little bit of confusion that I probably could have gone into more depth on the video, and how the Fitman Cook app differs a little bit from Meal Prep Pro. But basically the concern is, are there going to be new recipes added to this app? And the answer is yes, but I want to touch the frequency of that.
Yeah, definitely. So with myself and Kevin, we've been talking about this a fair bit, and we definitely want to have we want to set a date in the calendar and say, do you know what, like at the start of every month or on the first Meal Prep Sunday of every month, you will see new recipes in Meal Prep Pro. So we're just sort of figuring out exactly how to do that right now. And we definitely want to sort of have a constant stream of new recipes. What we've heard from people is that they really want a lot of extra breakfasts to choose from, and a lot of extra snacks to choose from. So those are two areas that we're really going to focus on and really sort of expand on. You got to remember that 2 years ago, the Fitman Cook app launched with 100 recipes, and it now has over 300 recipes. So we're sort of expecting a similar thing with Meal Prep Pro, where every month at the same date, we'll just add a whole bunch of new recipes for people. We'll make sure that those are kind of very clear inside the app, so that you can always see, oh, cool, these are the new ones for me to add to my plan and to try out, kind of thing.
Right. And the thing, just really quickly, the complexity of the Meal Prep Pro is a little bit more so than Fitman Cook, which is by design. So Fitman Cook, y'all, it's literally just me like in the kitchen. I'm experimenting. I'm tossing stuff out there that I think could be good. And some of those recipes may end up in Meal Prep Pro. The Meal Prep Pro recipes are designed from a macronutrient standpoint. So as we design the recipes, we are looking at the macronutrient breakdown, so that way they can complement the meal plan. So this makes it easier for us, first off, to be able to build, to be able to like allow you all to build your own meal plans. But it's just not as easy just to grabbing like a recipe from me and then putting it into the app. So we're actually being very thoughtful about the way that the recipes are actually added in there. And just so you know too, just a quick caveat, just so you know what goes on behind the scenes for recipes. Let's say that we have to first calculate all the stuff. We're going to get them certified by a nutritionist to make sure that they are okay from a macronutrient breakdown standpoint. Make sure that the numbers and the data make sense when you look at the overall meal plan in terms of macronutrients. After that, we've got to film it. And then we also have a translator, and they have to translate this to Spanish. And then once all that stuff is collected, then we have to take that and then submit that to Apple. There's an Apple review too. So it's not just as simple as just pushing out recipes whenever we want to. Those things have to go through Apple to make sure that there is quality.
Yeah, definitely. So we're sort of going through that process right now. So we're sort of investigating that right now for keto. So right now we're sort of in the early stages of doing all the research, making sure that, you know, if we do add keto, that we've got the right sort of tips in there about the diet and things like that. So we don't really want to just
vegan.
go say, yeah, and vegan.
And vegan.
Yeah.
I got my vegans out there. Andres.
So yeah, so you know, and so we'll go away, we'll start designing the recipes. We've got to create all the different calorie levels. We've got to sort of make sure that these recipes are meal preppable, they're simple. Then we've got to sort of write them down, film them, take any pictures for any additional recipes. So there's this ton of work that goes into Meal Prep Pro, which is why it's so different to FitMake and Cook. And you know, a lot of everything that we built with FitMake Cook was the result of feedback from the FitMake Cook app, and how people wanted us to kind of take the FitMake Cook app and go to the next level with meal prep, so that we can really sort of make it something incredibly simple to follow. And that's what's introduced a ton of extra complexity on our end, but that then makes it for the user incredibly simple to follow, obviously.
Were those all the updates for the version 1.01?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so that should be out in the next day or two, depending on when Apple just tick it off, kind of thing.
Okay, and then one other thing that we are looking at, guys, is that there was some concern, and this was actually, it was looking back at this in hindsight, it actually kind of made like perfect sense, but allowing people to use the app without putting in their credit card information. First, the people that actually trust the process and trust this, that we're, you know, that it's legit. Thank you for doing that. But there are some users who are concerned about putting in their information prior, you know, and then prior to being able to like use the app. So we are trying to figure out the functionality around that. So if there's a way that we can allow like a test trial, or maybe like a generic, you know, I don't even want to speak on it because I don't want to promise something that we can't deliver. But just know that we heard that concern, and it's the top of our list, so that we're not trying to take your money and scam people. You know, be worried if you see me posting some pictures on Instagram in front of a Lamborghini with some shaker cups and my ass out. Be worried then. But otherwise, no. We are hard at work behind the scenes answering your questions, okay?
Yeah,
Can we pause for a second on this? Are there any questions that have come out? And by the way, when he was talking, I was thanking somebody on Twitter because they had just downloaded the app. So for Android, so EJ Powell, appreciate you, bro, for doing that, and you know, and upgrading. About the apps, about anything that we've talked about so far. Before I just want to go over
a couple of sort of quick fire ones. Mitch Woodside here saying that she's downloaded here. Are all the recipes the same for everybody every week? No, everybody gets a sort of different plan that the app generates for you. There's been a few people that have asked about, they want to be able to print off the shopping list. Some people, I don't even own a printer anymore, but people want to be able to print off the shopping list. That's something that we'll definitely add. A few people asking about keto again, so we kind of covered that briefly there, but it's definitely kind of really high up in our priority list. Sort of somebody asking there about swapping some of the meals from the FitMake Cook app into Meal Prep Pro. So we kind of covered that briefly, just to say that, you know, a lot of the FitMake Cook app meals are not suitable for Meal Prep Pro because they're a different macro breakdown. Or, you know, perhaps they don't tick some of the other kind of quite strict boxes that we have for Meal Prep Pro. But if there's a specific recipe that you'd love to see come to Meal Prep Pro as well, like, make sure you send us a message, and we'll see whether we can adapt that somehow to bring it to Meal Prep Pro as well. But unfortunately, it's not as simple as saying, hey, just grab this recipe and just shove it in Meal Prep Pro, unfortunately. Somebody else asking that they do repeated breakfast and lunch for simplicity. I think a few people want the ability, David Cantor there, who's been posting some really nice comments. So a few people want the ability to basically, you know, only meal prep Monday to Friday and not prep on the weekend. You know, we've sort of seen a ton of variation here on what people want to do, and we're looking to add some features in that area as well, so that you could just save a plan and then just repeat it next week if you want to. So if you find like if the turkey bacon breakfast is your thing and you just want to eat that all the time, then we're looking for a way that we can just sort of always have that in place there for you, so you don't have to kind of constantly make that change. So yeah, ton of great questions. I can keep going unless you want to keep.
I have one here, Andres. This is one from Twitter. This is from Brian in Seattle. He said that he wanted the app to be a little bit more flexible. Is there a way to plan less than a week?
Yeah.
The entire week?
Yeah, definitely. So right now, what you could do is you could change your Saturday and Sunday to mark it as eating out. So then the app won't give you any recipes for the weekend. But we're looking for sort of a more advanced way of doing that. But for now, that's one way to make sure that the app is only giving you content from Monday to Friday, because I know a lot of people like to kind of go off on the weekend and do their own thing. A few people asked about it being on iPad, and it is already on iPad. So if you're not seeing it on iPad, then you need to be on the latest version of iOS, and then it's definitely on iPad already.
Okay. My computer went to sleep, I think, or something happened, and I got kicked off for a second. So I missed your answer, but I hope that Brian from Seattle got that. Okay. Are there any other questions about the app? Because I wanted to go over just a couple of things in meal prep, because I wanted to keep it right at 30 minutes. And some tips and things that I got via email I want to address.
Yeah. So a few people are asking sort of about the difference with the Fitmen Cook app and the Meal Prep Pro app. It's a good question. I think as soon as somebody tries the Meal Prep Pro app, they'll kind of immediately get a sense of everything that's very, very different there. I think the way that we're trying to keep it simple to describe to people is basically picture the Fitmen Cook app as like, amazing healthy recipes. Picture the Meal Prep Pro app as more about the meal plans and more about meal prep. And then I think you'll sort of start to understand some of the difference. But definitely give the Meal Prep Pro app a try. And I think you'll very sort of quickly see that it is quite a significantly different app.
Right.
Some people are talking about, one other thing that people are talking about is this idea of ingredient substitutions. And a lot of people have very specific dietary requirements. Some people are not eating eggs, cheese, lactose is a very popular one. So we really, really want to bring this to both the Fitmen Cook app and to the Meal Prep Pro app. So it's something that we want to do it the right way. So we don't want to hide from somebody that's got, a lactose intolerance, a whole bunch of the recipes. What we would rather do is be able to show them those recipes, but modified versions of those recipes that they can sort of change up. So we're trying to do it in a really, really smart way. But yeah, sort of anybody out there with a dietary requirement or preference, I'm getting a lot of comments from gluten-free, celiac, and so forth. Those things are absolutely crucial, and we can't wait to bring it to both Fitmen Cook and to Meal Prep Pro. And I think you guys are going to be really impressed, because I don't think anybody is going to do it quite as well as what we've kind of got in mind here.
Yeah, it's such a great call out, because we get tons of questions about that, and even within my own family, we've got a couple of people, with like food allergies, and so I've been really thinking about how to do that same thing on the fitmencook.com, and so those questions we are actually actively working on right now, and Andres is right. If Andres says that, then y'all got to know that what we're going to come up with is going to be much better than anything ever out there. All right. I know we've got about 5 or so minutes left. Can I touch on a couple of y'all's questions that y'all have emailed me? And Andres, just shout out something, because I can't see the comments right now. So just shout out something, if someone says something. But the first thing is that I get questions on like doing the whole meal prep process. Is this safe for me to go ahead and do? And I think it's actually, and it's a weird question, but I also think it's a very smart question. Meal prep is very safe for you to do. The thing that I would advise, even if you get the Meal Prep Pro app, is that the Meal Prep Pro app is designed for you to be very successful, because it structures everything. But if you've never done healthy eating before, then what I suggest is this. Start out with like 1 meal or just 2 meals at the max, maybe breakfast and your lunch, and just prep that. and then get your confidence up. Because the thing that I struggled with the most, and what I hear from people the most, is that you will start really strong and then you will just hit like this cliff and then just drop off because you lose your momentum. And so what the thing that you have to do is you want to build incremental success so that way you keep on going up. So start very small, prep 1 or 2 meals at the max, and do that for a month, for 4 weeks, and see how you feel, and then gradually get into it more and more. The second thing, when it comes to meal prep, the biggest question that I've been receiving is about the storage. Even when you make the meals inside this app or just in general, you want to think about storing stuff in the fridge for 1 or 2 days. Anything else that you're not going to eat within those 2 days, I would just go ahead and freeze. Now, there are different limits for that. So, well, not limits, but there are different freshness standards for those. So technically meat like chicken and beef can last fresh in the fridge for up to 5 days maybe. Fish, seafood, up to 2 to 3 days. But I just say, to heck with it all and just freeze the meal. So after you build your meals, if you're not going to eat it within 2 days, just put it in the freezer. And the most important thing that you have to remember to do each night, if you're going to eat a meal that's frozen, is to put it into the fridge. Because if you don't, you're going to have to end up defrosting it in the microwave at work or something, and that's not ideal. You're going to overcook the food. It's going to become dry, and that leads back to problem number 1, which you saying that I hate meal prep. I can't do it anymore. No, defrost in the fridge and then reheat your food that way, and that will lock in the most amount of freshness. Now, this is not related to Meal Prep Pro app, but what I'd also say is this: if you have trouble into the mode of cooking like individual meals, what I like to do, because since I'm cooking all the time, I don't like to go for like big things like casseroles and other stuff like that. That's probably ideal for meal prep. So what I'll do is I'll prep a big thing of like brown rice and quinoa and mix it up together. I'll put in some like onions and cilantro with that one, right? And then I'll prep just some chicken breast and chop it up. Then I'll prep some beef or some fish. And I'll have these individually prepped items. So that way each day I can build whatever meal I want. I'll have some frozen veggies in the fridge, and one day I'll have broccoli, the next day I'll have some like green beans, but that will allow you to kind of mix and match a lot more. And there's nothing wrong with condiments so long as you don't have a lot more condiment than you do the actual meal. But that will allow you to have a lot of variety and to trick your taste buds into thinking that you're eating something different each day. So you can make just a bland thing of just like brown rice, but one day you're going to chop up some cucumber and some celery and some cilantro and put some feta cheese in there maybe too, and some lemon. And it sounds good, doesn't it? Sounds really good, right? Some sea salt, and then and on those 2 days you'll have that type of rice. Take that rice and you may put some cranberries in there or some almonds or something else, and so you can keep on designing and changing up your diet each day without having to do this entire meal prep that forces you to eat just this casserole and just this. So you can check out the Fitment Cook app, which is both on the iPhone and Android, and you can get some individual meal prep items for those things.
We had a question. Sorry, Kev.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, we had a question there from Erica asking about, are the ingredients for you and your partner added to the ingredients list, or should I double it? So the new Meal Prep Pro app will actually work for 2 people. So in your ingredients list, you'll be seeing the amount there listed for 2 people. So if you've chosen to add a partner, and while we're on the sort of topic of partners, one thing we really want to do is we really want to feature couples that are using the new Meal Prep Pro app and are getting fit together, because we think that this is like a really sort of great, unique thing, and a really great way for people to reach their fitness goals is to work together. So send any stories or any pictures like that in, and we'd love to.
And what we're going to do is we quietly launched the new fitmencook.com. We're still making changes to it, but I didn't announce it because I don't want the site to crash or anything like that. just because we're still working some things out with it, but we're going to begin to curate a lot of those stories that y'all send us in your pictures. And we want to put up a page where it's like Cooking with Bay, getting healthy with Bay, and have your pictures and your stories about cooking stuff together with your partner there, as well as share those out on social media. I don't think we've set an actual hashtag yet, have we? We need to set a hashtag so that way we can find the stories. But right now, just hashtag FitMenCook, but we're gonna update that very soon. But if you're cooking with your partner, I want y'all to take a photo together and write us your story or just the photo in general so we can share that stuff out, because you have no idea how motivating it is to see people like you doing it. It's like real people getting these real results. It's so motivating for people around the world. And my last thing is this, actually, that's a great segue, is when you're talking about cooking with your partner, I get a lot of emails from women where they'll come up to me and talk to me about trying to get their husband or their partner into cooking healthy with them. And one thing that I find that women like to do is they like to say, all right, well, let's cook together. And they'll give the men like the salad or a side dish. And I know I don't want to be like patriarchal or like macho, but I find that I just think inside of every man, regardless, is that like we have like this intense desire to cook, because in the past we were hunters and gatherers for the family. So give the male, if you're trying to encourage him to cook healthy with you, include him in that process. So don't just relegate. And you know what? And women too. Don't relegate the partner that you're trying to get into healthy cooking into a very small portion of it. Don't give them the garden salad. Give them, the lasagna with you, and so they make one part of it and you make the other part, but you're actually significantly doing it together. There is a sense of accomplishment that comes along with it whenever you cook something that actually is going to add value to the diet. So do that for that person.
Definitely. And there's somebody here saying that they're about to close 26 years together. So congratulations.
Oh, yeah. 26 years. That is what's her name?
Yolanda.
Yolanda, congratulations, 26 years. That is amazing, especially in this Facebook world where you can update your status at the drop of a little click. So congrats, those are goals right there.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, so really, really thrilled that people are loving the cooking with your partner feature. Somebody was suggesting, David is suggesting hashtag FitMenCook, cooking with Bay as the hashtag.
We're gonna do cooking with Bay. Cooking with Bay. That's what we're gonna do. David, appreciate you. So everybody listen. David from where? Where's he from? Does it say?
It doesn't say where David's from. No.
Okay. We're gonna say Cooking with Bay. And for people that don't know, because not everyone knows what Bay is, it's BAE, not BAY, like bay leaves. No, it's Cooking with BAE, and Bay is before anyone else. So it is your partner. It's your querida. It's your querido. It's your lover. So yeah, Cooking with Bay. We heard it first here on our little live session from David.
A couple of people asking if we're going to post up this session afterwards. Maybe we could share the link somewhere.
This session right here? Oh, it's not recorded?
Yeah, no, it is recorded, so we can share the link with people afterwards.
Okay, yeah. I think it's going to stream directly to the YouTube page, right?
It should do.
It's going to publish there?
It should do.
Okay.
If not, we'll post a link on Twitter or something.
Absolutely. And on Facebook as well. I'll see if I can also embed it on the fitmencook.com, because we've got a really cool video feature there too that we can show. But yeah, y'all, I'm so excited about this new journey that we're on. So I'll put it out there. This was the big thing on my plate for the summer. Now it's going to be like tunnel vision to get done with the book. The recipes are finalized. Now we're just writing them up. I've got to get them tested. So I think pre-orders are going to be open in the fall, and I tell you what, if you love the Meal Prep Pro app, you're gonna love this book. I really put a lot of effort and thought into this book, and yeah, I'm very proud of what's to come. So hey, and guess what? That book you can get on Android and the iPhone, not platform specific. Well,
And on the Windows.
thank you all for tuning in. Andres, thank you for staying up late over there in Birmingham. Tell your family thank you
Thanks,
for
Kev.
allowing us to do that. All right, guys, tweet us your questions. Also, if you have any type of support issues at all, be sure that you go through the app and you submit those questions, because there's a support team in place and they are responding to all those questions very quickly, as quickly as possible. All right. I appreciate y'all. Until next time, I want y'all to keep it healthy, but of course, never, ever boring. Boom.